World Mental Health Day, our special focus on global mental health. The COVID crisis has dramatically worsened global mental health. There have been numerous studies that have shown that. India has been no exception. So given these circumstances, the trying times that we live in, how do you try and watch out for the signs? What can you do to protect yourself? Kubra said, I'm going to start with you. You are from that generation of Bollywood that is, as people would put it, comfortable in your own skin. You voice your views. You're active on social media. You don't stick just to fashion and selfie updates alone. How do you keep your mental health in check? Because we're increasingly living in a time of growing negativity and hate on social media, and you've personally witnessed this, experienced this. You've been a target of this too.
First of all, thank you so much for noticing that my social media feed isn't limited to just selfies and photographs and clothes and costumes.
Which is why I follow you.
But I think what's really important in today's time is that we pay attention to ourselves, our self-esteem, and you build that. You build the energy and the courage within you to defy everybody, who is a naysayer. And it's not easy. It's not something that happens overnight. It is something that you need to really work towards. And I think that awareness for me has come through yoga as a medium, because it's that 1 hour a day, irrespective of what I do. I invest it in me. At that point, I connect with my breath, I connect with my body, and it's almost uplifting to the soul. And then you're literally ready to face anything, anywhere. And I think that's what really is essential and key, at least for me. And thank you for asking this question.
You shared a post on your Instagram profile in which you asked people who follow you to share their stories. You talked about how yoga helped you survive, as you put it, but you said you used the word confession. You said you thought you were bulletproof until it hit me that I wasn't emotion proof. What did you mean by that?
Beautiful.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me on this panel of discussion. And well, yes, I think we all have our share of having to go through our ups and downs, where for whatever it's worth, I think we all think that we're pretty invincible. At least I always felt that. I thought I'm always invincible, and I always have this demeanor that, nothing can shake me and nothing can throw me off my game, So at least that's the kind of barrier and shield, and purely because of the profession that we are in. So we kind of do that to protect ourselves. But we're all flesh and bones. We're human. We all have our share of ups and downs. We have our share of breakdowns. We have our share of having emotional outbursts, etc. So I'm no exception to it. And I realize that over some time, whether it is the fact that sometimes if you're trolled on social media, or the fact that in the last 2 years, whether you've been cooped up in your home, not having maybe your near and dear ones around you, a lot of people not being able to have any access to their work, to any kind of income. So there have been various factors that have led to various people having various kind of fluctuation. So in this time, I've also realized and figured that I'm no exception, and I've had my share of real highs and lows, and where I've literally felt like there were days that I just didn't feel like I wanted to come out of the room. I just wanted to be there. So yes, and I guess those are times where you need to really turn to something in your life, or to an aspect in your life, or to a person in your life where you find that sense of calm. And I have to truly attribute that to yoga. And I'm not saying it because I am a part of a yoga brand, but I say it because it has helped me immensely. It has truly given me a sense of direction, a sense of calm, a sense of understanding within myself. And like Kubra said, I totally agree with her, that 1 hour that we dedicate to our lives, just purely to ourselves. And I think we always, as women, I feel we tend to forget putting yourself first. You tend to put everything before,
Absolutely.
and you tend to forget yourself. And I think that is very important. Love yourself, and I think that's where it starts. And I'm so glad that there are certain parameters that I've found for myself, and everybody has a different way of approaching different things. And yoga for me is what keeps me sane.
But Malaika, it's very brave of you to share this, to come out openly with this. Why did you decide to go public with this? Because like you said, you're an influencer, you're a public person, your accounts, all of them are carefully probably watched. You have a team, publicity teams. Why did you decide to come out openly? Because many would say, that's not the picture that we want, superstars want to be seen, to be known, like, the reality. Why did you share this? Did you think it would help people?
I'm human first before anything else. Like I said, I am flesh and bones. I have emotions. I have a thinking mind. Things bother me. Things upset me. It's not about coming out about some sort of a revelation. Like I said, I mean, I go through days. I have days where I'm not particularly feeling on top of the world, and there are days where I feel I can handle and I can take on just about anything and everything. In fact, I mean, even if I may say so, I mean, recently Kubra and me, we work out together, and actually, Kubra, with your permission, I remember that day she came for a session. Well, we were all together, and I don't know, maybe there was something on her mind, and somewhere mid through the session, I don't know, she just kind of, she just got so upset, and I could actually see her eyes well up. So I guess there are some days where you just have so much on your mind that you're dealing with.
But did you think by sharing this that, everybody will realize, look, we've got to give ourselves, cut ourselves some slack, because
you gotta let yourself
everybody
be.
goes through this.
You gotta let yourself just be, and it's fine to talk about it. It's fine to discuss it. It's fine to be open about it. But having said that, if you're not comfortable doing it, I'm not going to sit down here and push you to be, to talk and to scream from the top of your roof. But if you feel the need to come out and talk, and that's probably why we put that post out.
Do what works for you.
If you felt it's a comfortable space to come and talk, then feel free to, because we are all ears, and we are only too happy to lend a helping hand. So yes, Kubra, I hope you're feeling fine, my love.
I am. There's nothing in the world that a hug can't fix. At least that's in my purview.
Absolutely.
Kubra, your brother Danish Seth, who's a popular stand-up comedian, actor, writer, he's also opened up about his struggles with depression in the past. Is that one of the reasons why you've come out to support this issue and speak out on this day?
I think you don't really realize how important any matter is, for that matter, unless it hits so close to home. And I've spoken about this in the past. It was not particularly an easy time when you get to know someone you love, someone you know, someone you're so attached to is battling something so grave. And when this happened, I think it shook everybody, but most importantly, it shook him. So instead of me sitting and harping about how I was there for him, I'm so grateful that he was there for himself. And that's what's important in this journey. You stand up and you ask yourself to do something that's important to you at that moment. And it does not have to be, monumental in the sense that, oh, I have done such a big thing that defines me. But even the smallest step, the smallest action, you confiding in people listening to you. I remember saying this, we've become a generation that says, hi, how are you? Fine. We don't even let the person speak. We don't even let the person say how they are feeling. And I think mental health is collectively such a vast topic that we all need to be there to hear each other out. Be compassionate enough to be there genuinely and not just shoot advice and solutions. Just be there to hear. And that goes a long way. At least it did personally at home, with Danish, my brother. And he's a funny guy. And, there are all these amazing posts, of people wonderfully smiling and saying that is the face of depression. And you don't realize it because we don't talk about it enough.
And Malaika and Kubra, you're both from an industry where the pressure is so high, you're always under the microscope and, cameras watching you. And this week especially has been a difficult one because of the raid, on the cruise ship. It's brought up all those extremely difficult memories of the untimely death of that young, promising star, Sushant Singh Rajput, and raked up all those allegations of a drug nexus in Bollywood. So how do you deal with those pressures? The pressures that come with being part of an industry that is now being portrayed in that way?
Wow, I think that silence speaks a lot more than anything else. Again, there's an ownership that's put on to somebody who's a part of the industry to speak when the industry or people or kin of the industry get blamed or are caught up in controversies as such. And it's not an easy time for anybody, whether you are here or not, because then everything else is, under a microscope. Everything is being evaluated. Everybody is being tarnished. Their reputation is at line. So collectively, it's not an easy time. But I think this is the time when we all need to put our heads down and focus on what we do, realize why we are here, what is eventually the bigger message. Are we here to entertain, or are we here to feed you because you are hungry for controversy? I think I am here for the former, which is to entertain, to do my job well, to learn more about people. This is the greatest job. It allows you to understand minds of characters and people. And I think that is really, really important. We do it as actors in the most non-judgmental way. We play characters that are grey. We play characters that are dark. We play characters that are not accepted. I mean, a villain isn't really a villain. I remember these stories, as a child, where people used to say Pran Saab was the best villain, like the best human being. Or Amrish Puri was the nicest person to be alive. And he always played bad characters, And we never judged them based on the characters that they played. But here, we are so quick to give characters to real human beings and just spoil their reputation. And what we don't realize is that what people are sitting and doing and talking in their living rooms is affecting a real person in the real world. And
I agree.
If we do not draw that compassion within our hearts, then what is the worth of us calling ourselves humans? I don't understand. And I think that fails the purpose. And I think Sarvesh says this really well. When I sit with him and I'm sitting and chatting with him, he'll be like, why do we need to talk about people? Why can't we talk about bettering ourselves? And he is somebody who never talks about people, You can't sit around and, poke the bear and be like, no, tell me something that you know. And he's like, sorry, this is no gossip zone. This is not who I am. And you learn a lot, and it's really important. I'm so grateful. I have a friend like Sarvesh who propels you in the right direction. When the going gets tough and you probably tend to lean towards the convenient choice and you end up doing something silly or talking or saying something silly, which purely stems out of your judgment.
Quickly, one to Malaika. I want to pick up on what you talked about. Judgment, right? Being judgmental. Malaika, from the outside, it looks like you have it all, yet you've come forward and talked about how you do have days when you're feeling low. Should we take away from this that each and every one of us could be, anyone we know, could be going through a hard time? What one sees on Insta is not necessarily the truth, and everybody has their own demons, that we should not be so quick to judge. Even now on social media, everyone has an opinion on parenting, on kids, on, especially this parenting issue on youth and drug use, especially in Bollywood. Do we need to be more empathetic? Do we need to be able to put ourselves in another person's shoes first?
Well, I'm not going to sit and dissect, what's going on. I don't think I'll be comfortable doing it, because I think times are not very particularly good right now. So I think I will distance myself from that. But I will say, I think in terms of judgment, everybody is very quick to jump on the judgment bandwagon. Nobody even gives it a thought. I think we've all been at the receiving end of various kinds of trolling or judgment, and for anything. And forget the larger issues, even smaller things really trivial. I mean, you're even judged for that. So that's something that's a constant that is there, that everybody faces. But you also have to understand that social media has given you a platform which I feel everybody is just running amok. There is just no sense of empathy. There's no sense of restraint. There is no sense of compassion, nothing. Social media is a tool that has just given everybody, you talk about freedom of speech. I think people have taken freedom of everything to another level. It can be very disturbing. That's probably why we are talking today about something as sensitive as mental health, because I think it is a medium like social media that is actually propagating people with such issues of mental health, purely because everybody feels that they're either trying to live up to a persona, or they're trying to deflect from it, or they're trying to hide from it, or they're trying to protect themselves from it. So I just think it's such a toxic place to be in. It really is. I think that toxicity has reached a level which is ready to explode, I feel. It's really sad, and everybody is privy to it. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants something to say. I just wish everybody would just take a step back and sometimes just shut up. I really feel that. I really wish.
Well, thank you all for joining us today on World Mental Health Day. We appreciate your taking out the time and speaking up for this cause here on NDTV.